So we are just days from when the highly charged and highly coveted Super Tuesday matchup begins. It's the single biggest day for presidential candidates on both sides of the aisle to receive delegates in 11 states, and it usually ends up as the turning point in most election years. But today's the day South Carolina voters head to the polls for that state's Democratic primary. Hillary Clinton is heavily favored to win. In fact, her rival, Bernie Sanders, has no events in the Palmetto State today. Instead, he's setting his sights on Super Tuesday states. And the fireworks continue in the GOP race for the White House, with many candidates using this last weekend before next week to hit the campaign trail hard, trying to score points with voters in these states where the stakes remain very high. It's getting down and dirty as Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio directly attacked frontrunner Donald Trump. Trump picking up a big endorsement yesterday from New Jersey Governor and former rival Chris Christie. Ever since this week's contentious debate, Rubio has clearly taken the gloves off against Trump, unleashing a barrage of attacks against him, hoping to convince voters that his bid for the White House represents true conservatives. And joining us now, we welcome Senator Marco Rubio, who will be holding a rally later today in Birmingham, Alabama in the next hour. Welcome, Senator. Great to have you here today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Many folks who witnessed your performance in the debate this week and the days that have followed are asking, where was that Marco Rubio months ago? You had said you didn't want to launch attacks against your fellow candidates, but now in this 11th hour before Super Tuesday, you are attacking Donald Trump directly with a vengeance. If you felt this strongly before, why didn't you move in this direction much earlier?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, first of all, we had hoped that voters would reach this conclusion on their own. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone that way. You know, Donald gets this nonstop coverage from the press, oftentimes treating him with kid gloves. And look, now after 4 states and all these polls, Donald's the front runner, and he's a con artist. I mean, this is a guy that's about to take over the party of Lincoln and Reagan because he's reached out to all these Americans that are struggling and convinced far too many that he's somehow going to make America great again. This guy has been conning people his whole life. Look at Trump University, where he got people that were looking to improve their lives. They turned over thousands of dollars to him, and they got nothing in return. And now he's trying to pull the ultimate con job to get a hold of the U.S. government and become president. I'm not going to let that happen. I will campaign in all as long as it takes to prevent Donald Trump from being our nominee and to be the nominee myself. Donald Trump, the con artist, will never be the Republican Party.
So you're saying that you felt that voters would have found out on their own what you are alleging, that he is a con artist?
Absolutely. Look, this is a guy that was spent defending Planned Parenthood, who says he's going to be neutral on Israel and not take Israel's side. This is a guy who parrots the talking points of the Democrats, that if you don't support government takeover of health care, you're for leaving people to die in the streets. Who would have ever thought that someone like that would be the front runner in the Republican race?
So that's why you're hitting hard
because
now,
he's gone to
because
working
you feel
people.
That's what's needed at this point.
Yeah, because he's a fraud.
And
absolutely. This is a guy who says he's going to workers, but he's hiring workers from abroad to do work here. He builds all of his clothes. The Trump clothes is made in China, but he's going to take on China. He's going to stop illegal immigration, but he hires illegal to work on Trump Towers. He's a fraud, and it needs to be exposed before it's too late.
Mr. Trump also wasting no time hitting back at you quite hard as well, and he just finished up a rally in Arkansas talking about what he feels are your weak points. Let's listen to what he had to say a moment ago.
Take a look at the guys giving Rubio money. Take a look at the guys giving Cruz money. I'm not even blaming him. It's the system. But when those guys need something, it's 100%. Look at the lobbyists. Look at these special interests giving these characters money. 100% control over them.
All right, we're having some technical difficulties with that interview, and we hope to get Mr. Rubio back on in just a few moments. Oh, I understand he's back up. That's good news. So, Senator Rubio, were you able to hear what Mr. Trump was saying about you concerning your donors?
Yeah, it's silly. Look, people buy into my agenda. I don't buy into theirs. I can tell you who's never given me money: Donald Trump. I've never taken a penny from him, and I'm glad I have. A lot of cheating people. That's what he's done in many parts of his business, and that's what he's doing to voters now. This is a guy that inherited literally millions of dollars from his father. If he had just invested in the stock market, he'd be one of the richest people in the world today. He went out and ventures, went 4 times. He's a fraud, and he's a con artist, and he's being angry and does these sorts of things.
All right, Marco Rubio, sorry for the technical difficulty we're having with your audio. We apologize to our viewers about this, but we appreciate you being on today. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you.